Howdy y'all, Wayne from Dallas, Texas here. I react to all things UK. I'm doing some of my Christmas dinner cooking. It's a UK Sunday roast meets Texas version. So I'm doing a lot of roasted vegetables. I have my pork roast in the oven right now. I'm going to break this down dish by dish. So I'm starting with the first dish, which is going to be hot honey butter glazed turnips and carrots. So I'm getting ready to roast these first. I'm going to move you over here and let you see what I've done with the carrots. And parsnips, cut them up, sliced them in half to make a nice presentation. Now I'm simply going to hit those with some salt and a pinch, and all my vegetables that I'm cooking with, these are organic olive oil, just a drizzle across all of those. Like I said, I already added some salt. Now I'm going to hit it with just a splash of white wine vinegar. It'll just crisp up these vegetables. I'm just going to use a capful, not too much. You give them a little extra flavor where you don't have to use any too much salt. Now I'm going to put some fresh cracked black pepper on this. And I'm going to give these a stir. Just going to stir it around, make sure I get oil and the vinegar, everything on there. So, just want to get them coated real nice all over. Then I'm going to throw these in the oven and I'm going to roast them. And when they're done, I'll pull them out and I'll show you how they look after they're roasted. Then I'll finish these with a hot honey butter glaze. Texas style roasted carrots and parsnips. So now these go in the oven. I'll show you in a minute when they come out. Okay, I'm back. I have my parsnips and carrots that I pulled out of the oven. Well, here, I'll just show you. Now, they look perfect. They got just the right roast on them. Just like I wanted. Those cooked. They roasted in the oven at 220 Celsius for about 20 minutes. I let them go a little longer, maybe about 23 minutes. Now, I've got some melted butter here. Okay, so I've melted this butter. It's about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons, maybe about 4 teaspoons. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this hot honey to the butter. And I just want it to be equal parts. So I can tell how much butter I had in there. And I can add equal parts honey. And I'm going to just stir that up. So I feel like it's well stirred. A bit more. I want all the butter and honey to mix in together. And I'm just going to actually, these I'm going to transfer these later. You'll see how it's finished. But for now, I'm going to leave them on here. I'm going to brush them with this hot honey. And then my pork is roasting. Hot honey and butter. My pork is in the oven my prosciutto wrapped pork. I'll show you that when it's finished. It'll come out to rest, because it needs to rest for probably about 10 minutes or so. Rest a little bit longer even. While it's resting, I'll throw these vegetable dishes back into the oven to warm them. But for right now, I'm going to let this glaze set on. When I throw it back in the oven, it's really gonna brighten up that glaze. And then I'll finish these, when they come out of the oven the second time, I'll finish these with chopped chives. And that is almost finished. Hot honey and butter, carrots and parsnips with chives. Okay, now let me show you what I'm going to do with my potatoes. I have a selection of potatoes here. 3 different kinds, red, purple, and yellow potato. Now, I'm just going to take those. Again, I'm going to drizzle them with some olive oil. This is before I roast them, obviously. Just a little bit. I'm going to add some white wine vinegar. Just about a capful to these. Maybe a little less. Just a little bit. I'm going to hit them with salt. Potatoes, they can take some salt. So about, I don't know, a teaspoon or 2. And I'm going to hit it with some thyme. This is some dried organic thyme. And probably about, I don't know, 2 teaspoons. I'm not really measuring. About that much. Organic thyme, white wine vinegar, just a splash, salt, and olive oil. And I'm just going to give these a stir. And I'm going to finish these after they roast with some pork drippings right at the end of their roasting time, so that they're smothered with pork drippings. So that's what those are going to look like. I'm going to roast them in the oven for about 20 minutes at 220 Celsius. Covered in olive oil, splash of vinegar, salt, and some organic dried thyme. I'll put those in the oven now, and I'll show them to you when they come out. Okay, I'm back. I have my potatoes roasted out of the oven. Right over there. Again, roasted them at 220 for about, these roasted about 25 minutes, maybe a couple minutes over. I got them right where I wanted. Olive oil, white wine vinegar, and some dried thyme. So this is how they look roasted. Now I'm going to finish these off with pork drippings. Okay? That I've collected from my pork that's in the oven roasting right now. So these with dried thyme, olive oil, white wine vinegar are my roasted potatoes. Turned out good, I think. Okay, back again. This time with my potatoes. For the second time, my potatoes have come out of the oven. They're hot. They have thyme. They're cooked with olive oil, thyme, white wine vinegar, and smothered as they cooked in pork drippings. So they're gonna be, they are crispy, I can tell. But they are going to be soft and luscious. I hit it there with can you see these good? I hit it right there with onions. And now I'm going to layer some steamy hot onion gravy already cooked in pork drippings. Now I'm going to finish that with some chives, some fresh chopped organic chives. Everything I used was organic, good quality food. Now that is roasted potatoes in gravy, onion gravy, roasted with thyme, olive oil and vinegar, finished with sauteed onions, onion gravy, and fresh chives. Okay, now I'm going to start to prepare my Brussels sprouts. Now there's only 2 of us here, so these are going to be roasted Brussels sprouts. I'm going to start them off. There's only 2 of us, so we don't have to have a big portion. Let me show you these Brussels sprouts. I'm going to do the same thing. Drizzle of olive oil. These are going to go into the oven for about 20 minutes at 220 Celsius. Drizzle of olive oil, a tiny little splash of white wine vinegar. It's just going to help any vegetable to roast up crisp and flavorful. Pinch of salt, some crushed black pepper, same thing that I did on the parsnips. Just maybe, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon or less, depending on how many you have. So now I'm going to give that all a stir. These are Brussels sprouts. Now these I'm going to finish with a balsamic maple syrup drizzle. Okay, this is a fine Italian balsamic vinegar, organic Vermont maple syrup. And then I'm going to top these Brussels sprouts with some sun-dried tomatoes, some Texas chopped pecans, and I'm going to finish them with some crispy bacon crumble. That's when they come out of the oven. First, I'm going to get them onto a sheet pan here. I'm going to roast them in the oven until they're crispy. I like mine even a little extra crispy on the Brussels sprouts. Then I'm going to coat them. I'll show them to you when they come out of the oven. Okay, my Brussels sprouts are just out of the oven, roasted. I mean, they look great. They look perfect. I like them a little crispy, like my Brussels sprouts. A little crispy, especially for what I'm going to do to them. I want them to maintain that crispiness. Now, again, these will go back into the oven just briefly while my pork is resting. I mean, only 5 minutes, just to warm them up. When they come out, I'm going to show you how, in a minute, I'm going to make a maple syrup and balsamic vinegar. This is a fine balsamic, an organic maple syrup. I'm going to make a balsamic maple drizzle, balsamic maple drizzle. And then I'm going to add some sun-dried tomatoes to this dish. I'm going to finish it with chopped pecans and crispy bacon. I'll show you all that after I bring these back out the second time, and I'll show you then also how to make this drizzle. And but I just wanted to show you how those looked coming out of the oven. Roasted Brussels sprouts. Okay, I'm back again. Now I'm going to make this balsamic maple drizzle. Got my pan just lightly heating up. I don't want it to be too hot to start with. Now I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now sitting over there, I've got my peppers and onions. I've got this pan, it's just slightly hot. I'm going to take it off for a second. Oops, I got that on too hot. I want that on low to start, but I want my pan a little bit warm. This is what I'm going to make the drizzle in. Sitting over here, I've got these burst cherry tomatoes. A little bit of water to steam them. Let's see now. You see those are soft. I'm going to add some garlic salt to those. Right now, to my tomatoes. They're kind of steaming in some sauce. I don't know, about yay much. And I'll stir that around. Just a second here. So yeah, those are all burst. Nice, roasted, and seared. So, I'm going to make this balsamic drizzle. Maybe I should make it right here. You can see better. Let's do that. I don't want that pan to get too hot. So, I'm going to start with, this is a quality Italian balsamic vinegar. Now I'm going to use half a cup. That's the measurement for this. Half a cup of balsamic vinegar, a good Italian one. So half a cup of this. It's not that cheap. But it's got a nice little cork. Okay. Now I'm going to hit it with some of this organic Vermont maple syrup. Okay, just making sure that I took the lid off. And I'm going to use a 1/4 cup. Now that's just on low heat right now. And that's going to be it. Now, I'm going to bring that up. Now I'm going to bring the temperature up on this to about medium. And I'm going to stir it pretty frequently. Right now I just want to get that maple syrup and the vinegar all mixed together. Those are steaming a little too much. So I want to get that. I want it to start to simmer. Okay? I want this to start to simmer. I don't know if I can get you any closer. It's probably about the best view you're going to get. I want this to start to bubble and simmer. And I want to stir it frequently. But it's going to get hot. And I want to kind of keep it from getting too bubbly, but I do want it to bubble. That's why I'm going to stir it pretty occasionally or frequently. Especially as it starts to bubble. And that's going to reduce down. And I want it to reduce down to a pretty thick drizzle. See, it's starting to boil now. I don't know if you can see that. It's starting to get little bubbles. And as it does that, I'm going to play with my heat. I don't want it to get too hot, but I do want it to keep bubbling. If you can see that, it's bubbling real good. The fumes from balsamic vinegar can get you. You don't want to inhale a lot of that. So it's really bubbling a lot. So I'll take it off the heat. I turn my heat all the way off because you can't uncook something. You can bring it along slower. But if I get this overdone, I gotta start over. So I'm messing with my temperature, keep it at boiling. And I want this to get saucy where it sticks to my spoon and is not watery anymore. So I want to keep it bubbling, keep it simmering. I'll play with the heat. If it starts to bubble less, right now I got it really hot and I turn the heat off, and it's boiling from the residual heat. But as I see it starting to bubble less, I'll turn that heat back on a little bit, and it just has to reduce down. Now this will go on top of my Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts will have this maple balsamic glaze. See, it's starting to, I need a little more heat. And they'll be finished with Texas pecans, crispy bacon crumble, and I'm going to add sun-dried tomatoes to brighten up the plate a little. Give it a red and green Brussels sprouts. So I'm playing with the heat by lifting that pan up and setting it back down. But it's going to continue to reduce. And it takes a bit. This is a longer portion of the cooking. But it needs to reduce to the thickness that I want. Maybe I'll cut it off and show you in just a minute. Okay, I got this balsamic drizzle, maple balsamic drizzle at the perfect temperature. It's just reducing itself. I don't want to burn all the sugars in it, but I do want it to just sit like that and reduce. So I wanted to show you. That's the perfect temp right there, where it's boiling, it's bubbling, it's simmering. But it's not too much, it's not too little. I don't have to stir it very much, I'm just letting it reduce. Now, this is going to continue to reduce a little bit after I take it off. But I feel like that's starting to be right where I want it. See how sticky, this sticky, sweet balsamic goodness. I feel like that could go. Yeah, it's I don't know if you can see. It's almost there. It's bubbly right now. It needs to cool down a little bit. But you see how it, let me see if I can show you. See how the trail, it's leaving a pretty good trail behind. That's going to cool down a little bit. I'm going to set it right there and let that cool down. Now in my oven, I have the Brussels sprouts. My pork is resting right now. And I'm reheating these dishes one at a time. Or, well, I got a couple of things going right now. But in my oven are the Brussels sprouts. Reheated. You've seen them already. Now they're going to come over here. How's this going? Is anyone going to recreate this dish? Let me know in the comments if you decide to recreate this meal or parts of it. I'd love to hear how yours turned out. Now, these are just out of the oven for the second time. Whew, they're hot. They're a little bit crispy. You've seen them before. I do like them crispy. These Brussels sprouts. Again, there's only 2 of us. These are hot. They're right out of the oven. So I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot for 2 of us. So those are out of the oven. And now I'm going to get my drizzle, which is cooled down, and look at that. That is perfect. I'm going to whisk that, but if you can see, I'm going to whisk it just to make sure it's all infused together. Now this is potent. Like this is a lot. Okay? I'm just whisking it all together. There's a lot of flavor in this. So you don't want to overdo it. It's a drizzle. These are chopped pecans, but you're going to go right on this dish for a little crunch. Seems just about right. We'll put those on, and then I am literally just going to drizzle that. Again, this is a very powerful, strong drizzle. So you don't want too much. Then I have some bacon that I prepared. Some crispy bacon. That is going to also go right on top of my dish. Again, this is a small dish made for 2. But that is how I would make maple balsamic drizzled Brussels sprouts with Texas pecans and bacon. Looks good. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my roasted broccoli. I'm roasting all your vegetables. So, kind of the same thing. I'll show you how this dish is going to come out. I'm going to again add a drizzle of olive oil to this. These are broccoli florets. I've already prepped them. Gonna add that same pinch of salt. Always add a pinch of salt. I'm gonna add that. I added the vinegar, or did I add the oil? Added the vinegar. So now I'm gonna add this olive oil. It looks like, maybe I can't really tell. Yeah, I think I added the vinegar. Okay, so I'm gonna finish these. I was just checking. I'm going to finish these. If I left out the vinegar, it's not going to hurt anything. But I think I added it first. I'm going to finish these off by, I'm going to sear these cherry tomatoes and add them to the roasted broccoli. Oh yeah, I'm going to add some organic red pepper flakes to the broccoli right now. So I want to give them a little Texas kick and stir that up. Red pepper flakes. Oops, I lost one. Again, I'm not making huge portions. There's only 2 of us eating. So the red pepper flakes are in there. I'm going to sear these, and I'm going to finish it with some nice Parmesan Reggiano. That will be my roasted broccoli. I'm going to get this onto a sheet pan and into the oven. I'm going to sear these tomatoes, and I'll show you what it's like when I finish the dish. Okay, I'm back. I have my broccoli just out of the oven, just roasted. My broccoli. Again, it looks perfect. I did it just with olive oil, salt and pepper, red pepper flakes I used. Olive oil and vinegar. And they got just like I want them to. Just perfect. So that is my roasted broccoli. Now I'm going to finish these. I'm going to sear and burst these tomatoes to finish on top of that. And I'm going to saute some onions and red bell pepper. The onions I'm going to use for my gravy. The red bell pepper I'm going to add to this dish. So it'll be Christmassy looking. It'll have burst cherry tomatoes, red pepper, and I'm going to make a dressing. I'll show you how. Out of just simple olive oil, white wine vinegar, and of course some red pepper flakes, because this is going to be kind of a spicy broccoli dish. And that is how those turned out. I think they look perfect. I'll show you the dish when it's done. Okay, now I have a couple more things going here. On my stove top, I'll show you. I have cooking some onions and red bell peppers over here. I'm going to put that, a little bit of olive oil drizzle. And some salt. Just a pinch. Some fresh cracked pepper. I'm going to saute these up. The onions are going to go in my gravy. And the red peppers, you know, they're going to get mixed together a little bit, but the red peppers and a few of the onions will go on my broccoli, as well as these cherry tomatoes that I have searing over here. Now I just want those to kind of pop, get black. I've got it on very high. This is just on medium. I just want to get these a little bit sauteed and brown those onions to give my gravy a really good flavor. And I don't want the peppers to get too cooked. I just want them to get soft. Well, that's looking pretty good, to be honest. Now I'm going to show you how to make the balsamic maple drizzle. It's going to go on my Brussels sprouts in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it off down. These are about just right. You don't want to overcook them, but you see they're starting to get a little brown on the onions, and the red bell peppers nice and tender. So I turn that heat off, but I'm going to let it set there. See how these are starting to burst and get seared? That's what I want them to do. Kind of like roasting them, but I'm bursting and searing them. They're all going to turn flat eventually. And I'll add those to my broccoli dish. So I'm going to set that back down and I'll show you how this all comes together. Okay, back again. I know there's a lot of steps. I have my broccoli, my roasted broccoli, back in the oven for the second time. Show it to you right there. Okay, so this is my roasted broccoli. You saw it earlier. And you saw how I prepped that so far. Now, for this broccoli dish, I'm going to hit it some olive oil, some red pepper flakes, and some white wine vinegar. So it's just going to be a little bit of flavor, just like, you know, that much. It's maybe 2 teaspoons, same equal amount of olive oil, and of course some red pepper flakes, about a much. So now I'm going to mix this up. Red pepper flakes, olive oil, white wine vinegar. Whoops, I need to rinse this off first. I got hot honey on my brush, but it won't matter too much. Anyway, so I would like these to be flipped over as much as possible, but I'm just going to brush this kind of a dressing on liberally, and it's just white wine vinegar, olive oil, and red pepper flakes. Red pepper flakes kind of infuse the whole thing. I would like to get the tops of these brushed. These are after they've come out the second time. These are hot. A hot pan. Okay, now I'm going to take those and I'm just going to add them to this kind of a, if I can, just going to add them in here. Oh, that's hot. Let me get something. It smells so good. Again, this is just Christmas dinner for 2. So, doesn't have to be that much. Now, I'm going to add to give it kind of a Christmassy look. I'm going to add some of these burst cherry tomatoes. That'll green it up. Then over here, I have my onions and peppers. And mostly I'm trying to get some of the peppers onto my broccoli dish. I'll throw a few onions in there too. Those are nice and soft. And then, because I know it needs it, just needs a little more salt right on the top. That is roasted broccoli with burst cherry tomatoes, red peppers and onions, and a white wine olive oil red pepper dressing. And then, of course, just finish it a little bit of parm. And voila, roasted broccoli. Okay, back again. Now I'm making onion gravy. Okay, this will go great on my Yorkshire puds. Remember earlier when I made the bechamel, I started with a roux. That's what I've got here, nice and brown. I used the pork fat that I got from my pork roast for the fat, about a tablespoon, and I used flour. And a little bit of bacon grease that I had left over from when I made that bacon. Now, here I have, this is the pork drippings from my pork with all the good bits, all the fat, all the little good drippings from the pork that I roasted, which I will show you. It looks good. It's resting right now. I'll show you that pork. It was a pancetta bacon wrapped pork. Now this gravy has all the good little bits in it from that pork. I did not bother to strain out those bits. So as I bring this, oh, there's a bigger piece I'm going to do. As I bring this up to simmer, I might get a few of those bigger bits out. It's going to thicken. And I'm going to add to this as that starts to thicken up. Remember, I browned these onions in the pan before, and I'm going to add them right into my gravy so that I have a nice, thick pork dripping and onion gravy as this comes together. Now I can stir it occasionally. I got it at a medium to low heat. I really got some good drippings from that pork. Now I also used those pork drippings in my Yorkshire puddings, which I did make homemade and will show you as soon as they, when I put the whole meal together at the end. I'll show you the whole thing. Okay, while this is going, okay, so my roasted cauliflower, I need to shred up some cheese. Have y'all ever made a bechamel? Does anyone know what a bechamel is? Terry, you should learn. I know it's the French. But basic French cooking, you can take French out of it and just call it basic cooking. You should learn basic cooking if you're going to spend some time in the kitchen. Sadly, it's the French that kind of put together the basic steps. Okay. So a bechamel is just your standard cream sauce. You start with the roux, you add milk or cream, and then I'm going to add cheese. And that makes it bechamel. That's what turns it into a cheese sauce, as opposed to, this is the same way we make Southern cream gravy. Only this is going to have cheese. So to make a bechamel, it's pretty easy. Let me see if I can. Okay. It's real easy. It's equal parts. Basically everything. So I'm going to use a cup of milk, and I'm going to use a cup of shredded cheese. So again, that's the cheese I got. I'm going to shred this. I need a cup's worth. Alright. I'm probably going to see if I can move this around over here so y'all can see better what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to start with shredding this cheese. Let me know how's the lag doing. Is everything good? I'm checking my cauliflower. It looks fine. So I have this handy. Y'all have one of these? Sauce base, right? That's, yeah, you gotta learn to make your tear, you gotta learn to make your sauces. The bases, and then you can play with it. So this is some crumbly cheddar. So yeah, I have this little grater, fits right on top of my bowl, which is super handy. But I want to grate up a cup of this cheese. And yeah, y'all can recreate this. You could put this on You could put this cheese sauce on anything. You could put it on potatoes. You could put it on, as we might, macaroni and cheese. You could put it on pasta. You could put it on any roasted vegetables. Broccoli. You know, this is basically English cheddar sauce. You can use any kind of cheese. But this is my Texas meets the UK Sunday roast. So I'm taking your cauliflower cheese that Ben says you always have. And I'm using your cheese and some jalapenos. Now that probably is a cup. And it doesn't necessarily all have to be grated, like there were some chunks. I don't know if that is a cup, but that's probably about a cup. Okay? Yeah, that's about a cup. I'm not huge on measuring now. I am going to grate some more because I want to have some to put on top. Okay? Well, I might do that after because I want to make sure that is about a cup. Now, I'm going to start by adding some butter. I'm checking my recipe. I'm checking my cauliflower. That's about what we call 2 tablespoons butter. Let me get that melting in my pot that I'm going to make my bechamel in. And then I'm going to add, what did I say that was, about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add flour. Some all-purpose flour. Equal parts to that butter. I'll add it right onto the butter. So that's about 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter. Then I'm going to let that melt and brown it a little bit. And that's going to be my roux. Okay, so that it's really easy to make a roux. It's equal parts fat and flour. You could use duck fat. You could use any kind of fat and flour. When I make biscuits and gravy, I'll use bacon fat or sausage fat and flour. So I'm going to let that turn kind of brown. And to be honest, I feel like that needs a touch more flour, which is, you know, I don't really measure. But I could tell that needed more flour, and it still does. So you can add a little bit of time, but you can't take back. You can't take out of the dish. But I know what I want my roux to look like. It needs to be a little thicker and browner. And that's getting better. But I'm still not sure that doesn't need another little sprinkle of flour. How many of y'all, I'll check the comments in a minute, but how many of y'all make roux? They say, you could take this, I would do it with bacon fat or sausage fat. This is how I would start cream gravy. And then to this roux, I would just add black pepper and milk and salt. So now I'm going to hit that with another equal parts thing. 1 cup milk. 1 cup of milk. That's 8 ounces. And 1 cup cheese. I'm going to stir that together a little bit and get my roux mixed into my milk. Now the key to making this is just you got to pay attention to it. You can't get distracted. You gotta pay attention when you're making your bechamel sauce. Okay, I want that to get nice and melty. Might be a better view. I want to keep my heat hot but not too hot. I want to stir it pretty consistently. What I'm going for is what I call gooey. It's got to be gooey, right? So that's the consistency I'm looking for. That milk, I had it sitting out, so that's another good tip. I already had my milk sitting out a little while so that it didn't go too cold into my pan. Now already that's starting to get thick. Okay, that's already, some of those chunks of cheese aren't quite melting yet. See how thick that is? See how it can trail? I don't know if you can see. See how that trails? And you can see the trail I leave behind in the pan. That tells me it's right. That's the consistency I'm looking for. Now I'm going to set it aside for a minute off the heat. I don't want it to get overdone. I am going to add a bit of salt. And now I need my jalapeno. I do like the way that looks. I'm going to set that down somewhere. I'm losing a lot of counter space. Okay, so my bechamel, it needs the jalapeno. I added salt, just a pinch. But this jalapeno, look at that. It's nicely roasted. And I don't know where I'm going to, let's see. I think I got room right there to cut this up. Now then, do y'all like jalapenos? I want this to be pretty finely chopped. This is going to go in the cauliflower. I don't want to get it too spicy, so I'm going to leave the very spiciest parts of the jalapeno, this part. That part right there, the kind of heart with all the seeds, that is the spiciest part. If you don't like it too spicy, you take that out. Now I did leave some seeds in this because those seeds are also going to be a lot of heat. And I left the veins in it, which are also going to have a lot of heat, but I took out the heart because it's going to be really spicy. If I leave that in now, I'm going to just spice this up. And then I'm going to have to wash my hands. If you mess with any type of chili pepper and touch anywhere sensitive like your eyes, you're going to regret it. I try not to touch this too much, but it's only a little bit. If you just touch it a little bit. I do want these finely chopped to go in to my cheese sauce. Now it's only one. You could use two, you could use three, you could use whatever you want. So that is what that looks like. And I'll put it right into my sauce. I'm going to give that a stir. It's starting to thicken it up too much. I do want gooey. Yeah, no, that does look gooey, doesn't it? That looks pretty gooey. Yeah, see the consistency? I don't know if you can, but it's very gooey, which is exactly what I want. A gooey white cheddar. Mission accomplished on gooey, I think. You grew some California Reapers? Yeah. Those are spicy. Yeah, jalapenos aren't too spicy, no. They're good. Especially with, sorry I stepped off screen, especially with, you know, especially with like potatoes, cauliflower. They need a little kick, you know. Can't believe, how did your Carolina Reapers come out, Ben? You grew some? Any of you out? Any other folks have a garden? We're over an hour, but I'm just gonna keep going. if y'all gotta go, I understand. Yeah, Sam, I have UK tea. I drink it all the time. Lots of UK tea in the house. Yeah, pizzas are good on jalapenos. Okay, so now, I mean, really, I am almost done. Everything's kind of prepped and ready to go. I'm going to take 1 second. So this is what I'm going to make my cauliflower in. So I want to transfer that over to here. So throw all that in, all that cauliflower. I can tell just by touching it that it's roasted just perfectly. Just going to be soft, and I want to get all these bits. That's where a lot of flavor is. Yes, that is exactly what I was going for. Again, you know, you could make a lot more. This is for 2 people. So I've got my bechamel sauce here. I'm going to make sure this is all evenly distributed. This is the perfect size for just 2 people. And I'm going to pour all that in. It is definitely gooey. That is what I was going for. Gooey English cheddar, right? Was it organic English cheddar? Now I'm going to mix that up. You want something that looks great, huh? Look how perfect that roast is on the cauliflower. See, I could have just boiled this cauliflower and then added the sauce and been done with it. But instead, I roasted the cauliflower. Now, I got this all stirred up. Look at that. Now that it's all stirred up, I'm going to take and I'm going to grate some more cheese. And I'm going to put more cheese on top. Then I'm going to take this and set it aside because we're not ready for Christmas. Yeah, for Christmas dinner. These are sides I'm making early. Okay? So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to set that Swedish mash aside. And I can even put it in the fridge until I'm ready for it. And then I'll just warm up that mash, that Swede. I think I said Swedish, but I meant Swede. We call it rutabaga. Have you ever heard that before, rutabaga? We don't call it Swede. But I'll take that Swede and I'll just warm that up on the stovetop when I'm ready later on. And I'll take this cauliflower and I'll throw this in the oven. I mean, and warm it up like a casserole. Now, I will put, just to finish it, some fresh parsley flakes. Now, I'll take this cauliflower, I'll set it aside, I'll throw it in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. When I'm ready to eat it, it'll brown on top, and I'll show you that. I'll show you that in another video. You're going to see straight out of the oven. Remember the cauliflower dish that I made with a jalapeno, cheddar, bechamel, cauliflower. Remember, I made that earlier. It just came out of the oven. That looks perfect too. Okay, this got a little hot. Well, I stepped away for a second, but that's okay. You can always pick it up, remove it from the heat, give it a stir. That is coming together real nice. Again, I don't have to make a lot of gravy. There's only 2 of us. So, that is coming together real good. And I'd say that's just about there. That is the consistency I want it to be. I know you probably cannot see it very good, but maybe in just a second. Okay, well, actually, I might want that a little bit thicker. It does look pretty good though. Sometimes it's hard to tell with the onion in it. But I think I'll let that sit on the stove. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. I will go ahead and take that, pour that right in. Look at that lush onion gravy. Can you see it? Don't want to tip it out, but that is perfect. I'm sure you'll pop up in a minute and I'll see who's here. I got my water boiling for my Swede that I've already cut out. My Christmas bin. I don't know how good this is going to work, but I'm going to try to move the camera around. So I got water boiling here. And this is my Swede that I've already cut up. Try to put that in without splashing too much. Alright. Now I'm going to roast this garlic. I'm going to take the top off of it. You ever roast garlic? So I'm just going to take the top off. Tear some of that out of the way to where I have this. I'm going to take that. Oops. I forgot something. We got that aluminum foil. And then, I never cooked in a live stream before, so let's see how this works. But then I'm going to add some olive oil, just a little bit. I know you can't see. Oops. The lid's not off on the olive oil yet. Let's see what y'all are saying. The food was amazing, Ben. Couldn't eat another bite. Lamb, ham, turkey, pigs and glazed veg, roast, potatoes, and more. You had pigs too? I should have made pigs, huh? We just have them year round. So, a little olive oil. and my garlic. Now I'm going to throw that in the oven to let that roast as I do this. So to make this crema, you need a good soft avocado. And this avocado I bought in preparation, but it's not that soft, which makes me sad. Sorry, I'm having to get a few things out here. So I'm going to have to really mash this avocado up good. Now, do y'all get avocados? You get good avocados? Anybody? A fan of avocado? They should be a little bit soft. This one's not bad. If I got it 2 days early instead of 1 day early, it would have been perfect. This one's not too bad, so I don't know how good are your avocados. So, avocado. I'm going to really mash this up good though. Now you know how to get these out? These are common. You know how to get them out? You never seen a cutting board this small? It's good for cutting small things. Well, that should turn, but it is not. It's because this avocado is so, it's not quite right like I like it to be. Or else that nut should just turn right out. But it's not. So I had to cut away for a minute. Okay, nut is out. I'm going to scoop all this out. Yeah, I got a few size cutting boards here. The little one's good for little things, like I'm about to cut up some cilantro. Yeah, I wish that avocado was a little bit softer. But I am going to soften it up. And it is fresh. Do y'all like avocado? Is anybody else a fan of avocado? I need a fork. So you can still see what I'm doing here, right? I'm going to mash this up really good with my fork. Maybe I should have cut it up to start. They say a softer, oh this side is much softer. This side is much harder. I'm actually going to get rid of that. Yes. There's only 2 of us here. So I don't need big portions of anything. You know? There's only 2 of us eating. So hopefully you can see, I'm just mashing up this avocado. I want it to be really mashed. That's why the riper the better. Yeah, part of this avocado was much better than the other part. Seeing as there's only 2 of us, I got rid of that. Is anyone thinking of recreating this meal or some of these dishes? Let me know if you ever do. Post it on the community. I'd love to see it. Okay, so this is my mashed avocado. That looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to take some cilantro. Do you have cilantro? You might have another name for it. Coriander is this plant. And you might use coriander seeds, which oddly enough we use coriander as well, dried coriander. But when it's fresh like this, we call it cilantro. And it's It's used in Mexican dishes. Have you ever tried cilantro? Some people say, they say it's a genetic thing. Some people claim cilantro tastes like soap. I don't have that. They say it's certain people have this thing that makes cilantro taste like soap. I think it's delicious. Goes really good with lime, which is going to be in the sauce. Now I don't need a whole lot, but I'm just pulling the leaves off. And then I'm going to kind of fold it up together as much as I can, because I don't want big pieces. I don't want it minced up. I don't know if you can get this in your stores. I'll look at the comments here in just a minute. You can let me know. I'll see. Maybe you already have. But I don't want any big giant pieces of cilantro. I don't want any stems. So I'm going to go through this a few times. I mean, if there's a few, it's a rough chop. There's a few bigger pieces, it's alright, but I definitely don't want all big pieces in my crema. Mostly pretty good chopped cilantro. When you chop it, it also brings out the oils and flavors. Like I say, as soon as I make this crema, I'll check the comments. But this is a crucial moment here for the crema. Now then, I got that done. I can go ahead, scoop that right into there. I'm going to cut this lime. I'm sure y'all have limes, right? I'm going to juice it. Well, that smells good. You can wash your hands in like lime juice. If you don't have any cuts on your hands, it kind of gets all the sticky parts, whatever sticky's on your hand, and citrus juice. Now, I'm also going to zest this a little bit right into here for the flavor. I broke the handle on my zester the other day. So now I'm missing the handle, but no zester will go to waste in my house. Do y'all have a zester nearby? So I'm just going to zest that into there. I've got my lime juice. I'm going to add all this. This is how y'all make a crema. Add all this to the bowl. Now, the Mexicans, and maybe you have one, I don't. The Mexicans will have a pestle. And they will take this and grind it up, kind of. Is this interesting to y'all? I haven't checked the comments in a while. I can't the whole time because I'm cooking now. If you can see how much that is, I want to do equal parts with the sour cream. Sometimes, if anything, go less, and you can always add more. You cannot add less. So, oops, I'm going to mix all that up. Yeah, it's looking good. Oh yeah, I'm going to add the lime juice. And then if I want to add more sour cream to get the consistency that I want, I will, but it's looking like it's about right. So this is going to end up being like a dollop on top of the spicy Mashed Swede. Okay, Yeah, like this is my Swede. We call it rutabaga. And I'm now going to add salt. How's that look? You need a dishwasher? Doing a good job. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, this is just salt. I don't know. A little bit of salt. And a couple more things I'm going to use. This is red pepper flakes. And I'm not big on measuring. I know the spicy level I'm going for is about that. This is something I don't know if you can get, but this is smoky hot paprika. It's got paprika. Kent Rollins, that is his name. Cowboy Kent Rollins. Yeah, he's from Oklahoma. So smoky and hot chili powder. It's cayenne and paprika, and it's got a smoky flavor. And you know, I put on maybe a quarter teaspoon. You know, it's pretty spicy. So a quarter teaspoon is about enough. Red pepper flakes, you know, 1/8 of a teaspoon. Salt, a pinch. And I will add some ground black pepper. I don't know, this much. I would say maybe a teaspoon. It could be less, but I mean, spices is to flavor. So I did put enough of that cayenne, smoky hot paprika that it's going to be pretty spicy, which is the way we do like things. Now, I'm going to add some butter, about, I don't know, a tablespoon we call it. That might be 4 teaspoons to you. And I am going to add milk. But first, I'm going to mash this all together. I like to do this first. And then, once I have them mashed, I can add in milk without measuring until I get the consistency I want. Again, this isn't a lot because it's just for 2 people. But, you know, so I don't know. Depending on how much Swede you start with and how creamy or rustic you want your Swede will determine how much milk or liquid you add. You could use a little cream, and I might add some heavy cream. But see, I'm going for more of a rustic finish. I don't want them to be too moist. I want it to be more, I want to get the flavor of the rutabaga. You see? Now that is how that finished. So it's spicy. Oh, I forgot the garlic. That's right. Okay, I almost forgot that I have this roasted garlic I want to add. That's going to really give it the flavor. Now remember at the beginning when I took that garlic, I cut off the tops and I added some olive oil. It's been roasting in the oven. And it's hot. I guarantee you that it's hot right now. But hopefully I can do this without burning myself. Yeah, that's so hot. But if you just squeeze it, yeah, it's better to let this cool down because I am burning myself. If you squeeze it, you already saw, see how that comes out? Now that is a whole, I don't want to add all of that because I don't have that much rutabaga. So that is roasted garlic. Like I say, I did I think 3 or 4 of these, we call them Swedes. But if you did 6 or 8, you'd add that whole clove of garlic. But I didn't do that much because, again, there's only 2 of us. This is 3 chopped up Swede and about half a clove of roasted garlic. Now, I'll take this, I'm going to put it into a smaller container and save it, and then just warm it up on the stove when I'm ready for it.